Ethan's morning coffee run turns into a moment that stops his heart cold. Across the cafe, the woman he hasn't seen in 6 years, the woman he once loved more than anything, is sitting by the window. Elena. But she's not alone. 3 children are with her, and every one of them has something achingly familiar in their face. Could they be? In an instant, Ethan's world tilts. The life he thought was gone forever may have been here all along, hidden in plain sight. And now, with one unexpected encounter, he has a chance to reclaim it. If Elena is willing to let him in. This is a story about love lost and found, the power of forgiveness, and what it means to fight for the family you didn't know you had. But will Ethan's return heal the wounds of the past, or open them all over again? Hello and welcome, dear story lovers, both new and returning. Thank you for choosing to spend time with us today. If you're new here, or even if you've been here before and haven't already, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us bring you more heartfelt stories just like this one. Also, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments as the story unfolds. We love hearing from you. Now, grab some tissues and let's dive into it. Ethan Harrington wakes every morning to the same hollow ache in his chest. It's dawn in Chicago, and weak winter sunlight filters through the half-drawn blinds of his small apartment. He sits on the edge of his bed, rubbing the sleep from his eyes, but the emptiness he feels never clears away with the morning light. 6 years. It's been 6 years since Elena Monroe, the love of his life, walked out of his world without a word. 6 years since he last saw her gentle smile or heard her laugh. Every day since, he's lived with the regret that his own pride and temper drove her away. In those early days after Elena left, Ethan replayed their final moments together on a loop in his mind, trying to pinpoint the exact moment it all fell apart. He remembers the argument in vivid detail, his raised voice echoing in their cramped living room, the flash of hurt in Elena's eyes, and the deafening silence after the door slammed shut behind her. He had been too proud to say "I'm sorry," too stubborn to go after her. By the time his anger cooled and regret set in, it was too late. Elena was gone, and inexplicably, she'd erased herself from his life completely. No phone number, no address, not even a social media trace. It was as if she'd vanished into thin air, taking a piece of him with her. Now Ethan's days are a monotonous routine. Work, home, the occasional visit to his friend Marcus's bar for a solitary drink. All of it suffused with the quiet longing for a life that might have been. He's built a successful career in these intervening years. At 32, he now owns a tech firm, respected and well-liked. But all the success in the world means little when he comes home to an empty apartment. The promotion plaques on the wall, the awards and the sleek leather couch in the living room don't fill the silence. His heart remains stuck in the past, caught on memories of Elena, the way she'd dance in the kitchen when she thought no one was watching, or how she'd scrunch her nose when thinking deeply. He wonders where she is now, how she is, if she ever thinks of him. Little does Ethan know, on this very morning, Elena Monroe is closer than he could ever guess. Across town, the sun's rays fall through the window of a modest 2-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood. Elena stands at the kitchen counter, hurriedly packing school lunches. Her hair, slightly longer now and pulled back in a low bun, frames the same warm face Ethan fell in love with, but there's a new maturity in her eyes. 6 years can change a person, and Elena has spent those years in ways Ethan can't imagine. "Mommy, I can't find my other shoe." A small voice calls out from the living room. Elena closes the last lunchbox and turns, her heart swelling at the sight before her. In the living room, 3 small children bustle around, 2 identical girls with curly dark hair and a boy with the same deep brown eyes that Ethan sees in the mirror every day. They're 5 years old, fraternal triplets who fill Elena's life with chaos and joy. Ava, the one who had called out, is hopping on one foot, her little face scrunched in frustration as she searches for her missing sneaker. Her sister, Bella, is at the coffee table, carefully tying a ribbon round her ponytail. The boy, Caleb, is sprawled on the floor, busy inspecting the wheels of a toy fire truck. Elena walks over and plucks a tiny sneaker from under the couch. "Found it, Ava," she says with a gentle smile. kneeling to help her daughter put it on. Ava grins. "Thanks, Mummy." Bella, now satisfied with her hair, chimes in, "Mummy, are we going to be late for school?" She has a cautious look, the kind of earnest worry that makes Elena's heart pinch with guilt. At 5, Bella already takes on the role of a little helper, always concerned about her siblings and her mom. "We're okay on time, sweet pea," Elena reassures her. "But we should hurry." She pats Caleb on the back. "Come on, buddy. Time to get your backpack." Caleb scrambles up, clutching his toy fire truck with determination. "Can I bring fire, Chief?" he asks, holding up the bright red truck. Elena gently shakes her head. "Fire Chief will be here waiting when you get back, Caleb. Remember, toys stay home so they don't get lost." Caleb's face falls for a second, but he nods and carefully places the truck back on the floor, giving it a loving pat as if to say goodbye for now. As Elena herds the children out the door, her heart is a cacophony of emotions. Moving back to Chicago was not an easy decision. For years she'd avoided this city, the place where every street corner held a memory of Ethan. But when her mother fell ill a few months ago, Elena decided it was time to come home. She couldn't hide forever, and her children deserved to know their grandmother, who is now recovering and eager to spend time with her grandkids. So here she is, back in the same metropolis as Ethan, constantly bracing herself for the day their paths might cross. With the triplets buckled into their car seats, Elena drives toward Little Oak Elementary. The radio plays softly, a cheerful tune that belies the tension she feels inside. Her mind wanders as she waits at a red light. She wonders about Ethan. Is he still in Chicago? Part of her aches to know, to maybe even see him from afar. Another part of her, the part that remembers their painful goodbye, hopes fiercely that she won't. Seeing him would hurt. And yet, she can't deny that a small voice inside her sometimes whispers his name late at night when the kids are asleep and she's alone with her thoughts. In his apartment across town, Ethan straightens his tie and grabs his coat, oblivious that the woman and the life he longs for are within driving distance. He heads out to work but decides to stop by Grounded Beans, his favorite coffee shop, as he's done every morning for years. The cafe is a block from his old college campus, a place steeped in nostalgia. He and Elena used to come here often, back when they were young and their futures seemed bright and uncomplicated. The bell jingles as Ethan pushes open the cafe door. The rich scent of espresso envelops him. The warmth is a welcome contrast to the biting winter wind outside. "Morning, Ethan," calls Jenna, the barista, who already has his usual order ready by the time he reaches the counter, a large Americano with a splash of oat milk, no sugar. He smiles his thanks and turns to find a seat. That's when he hears a burst of laughter, high-pitched, giggly, unmistakably the laughter of children, and a soft, familiar voice shushing them. His heart nearly stops. That voice, he would know it anywhere. Ethan pivots sharply, scanning the corner of the cafe from where the sound came, and there she is. Elena, right here, in this coffee shop, on this random morning after years apart. She's seated at a small table near the window, a half-finished latte in front of her. She looks almost the same as in his memories, maybe a bit older, a bit wearier around the eyes, but still beautiful. His Elena. He's frozen in place. Part of him wonders if he's dreaming, but no, it's real. Too real. Because now he sees the 3 children around her. 2 little girls, 1 boy. The girls are in matching school uniforms, navy pinafores and white tights, and the boy is swinging his legs under the table, clad in tiny khaki pants and a blue sweater. Ethan's mind spins. Elena? With kids? They look about 5 or 6, he estimates, his gaze darting from one child to the next. One of the girls, with a pink ribbon in her curly hair, says something that makes Elena laugh, a soft, genuine laugh that lights up her face. The boy reaches for a napkin, accidentally knocking over a small backpack on the seat next to him. Elena ruffles his hair affectionately as he picks it up. Ethan's stomach drops. It's a scene of a mother with her children on a normal day. Elena is a mother. The reality crashes into him. In the 6 years since she vanished, she's built a life that he knows nothing about. A wave of emotion surges, relief that she's alive and seemingly well, mixed with a sharp sting of pain that she's moved on. Possibly found someone else, had a family. He should move, say something, anything. His feet finally obey, and he steps forward, heart pounding harder with every step toward the table where the past and present have suddenly collided. Elena senses someone approaching and looks up. For a heartbeat, time stops. Her eyes meet Ethan's, and in those deep brown eyes, he sees recognition ignite and shock. Elena's smile falters, her lips parting in a silent gasp. "Ethan," she whispers, as if questioning reality. Ethan can't find his voice. He nods, managing a faint, "Hey, Elena." His voice comes out huskier than he'd intended, heavy with emotion and disbelief. All three children have paused their chatter to look up at this stranger who has clearly rendered their mother speechless. Ava and Bella exchange curious glances, and Caleb clutches his fallen backpack to his chest, shyly peering at Ethan. Elena stands slowly, almost knocking over her chair in her haste. For a moment, she seems caught between the urge to hug him or to run away. Her hands tremble as she instinctively places them on the back of an empty chair to steady herself. I can't believe it's you," she says finally. Her eyes welling with tears, she quickly blinks back. Ethan offers a tentative smile, his throat tight. "It's me. Wow, Elena. Hi." He realizes he's repeating himself, but his mind is struggling to catch up. He forces his gaze away from her for a moment to glance at the children who are watching the adults with wide, curious eyes. His heart thuds. They are adorable, and something about them tugs at him in a confusing way he can't quite place. Elena notices his gaze flicker to the kids. Her body tenses up, like a protective shield snapping into place. She steps slightly in front of them, as if shielding them from possible hurt. "Ethan," she begins softly, her voice gentle yet cautious. These are my children." Her children. The words confirm what he's seeing, but raise so many more questions. A million possibilities run through Ethan's mind. If they're around 5, then she could have had them maybe a year after she left. Did she meet someone new right after him? The thought twists his gut painfully, though he knows he has no right to feel that way. She was free to live her life after all. Still, the timing. 5 years old. The girls share Elena's curly hair, and the boy. Something about that boy's eyes and the shape of his little nose. Ethan's breath catches. The boy looks oddly familiar. It's insane to even think it, but now that he's up close, a bolt of intuition strikes. These children, all 3 of them, have hints of him. Ava's chin, Bella's eyes, Caleb's little cowlick that mirrors his from childhood photos. It's like seeing echoes of himself and Elena blended together. No, it's impossible, isn't it? Ethan's pulse races, confusion and hope and fear swirling in his chest. "They're lovely," he manages to say softly. He turns his eyes back to Elena's, searching them for answers she isn't yet giving. You have a beautiful family." A flicker of pain crosses Elena's face. She opens her mouth to respond, but at that moment, the bell above the door rings again. Another customer coming in. Elena flinches at the sound, glancing past Ethan toward the door. "Mummy, we're gonna be late," Bella pipes up, tugging on Elena's sleeve. The little girl looks between her mother and Ethan uncertainly, sensing the strange tension but not understanding it. Elena swallows hard, coming out of her daze. "You're right, sweetie." She reaches for her purse with shaky hands, then meets Ethan's eyes once more. There's so much unsaid in her gaze, shock, guilt, a trace of longing or regret, but above all, urgency. "Ethan, She hesitates, lowering her voice. "I have to get them to school. I'm sorry." It's clear she's about to bolt, and Ethan feels his chance slipping away. Panic flares in his chest. He can't let this end in another goodbye, not when she's standing right in front of him again. "Wait," he says quickly, keeping his tone gentle so as not to alarm the kids. He grabs a napkin from the table and a pen from his coat pocket, scribbling his phone number. Hands trembling, he offers the napkin to her. "Can we talk? Please. I have so much I want to say." His eyes plead with hers. For a moment, Elena looks down at the napkin in his outstretched hand, her expression unreadable. Ethan's heart pounds. Don't walk away again. Finally, with a hesitant breath, Elena reaches out and takes the napkin. Her fingers brush against his as she does, sending a jolt through both of them. She nods, almost imperceptibly. "All right," she whispers. Later, "It's not much, but it's something." Ethan exhales in relief as Elena gently ushers Ava, Bella, and Caleb toward the door. The little ones wave goodbye to the friendly man their mother clearly knows, and Ethan musters a smile and a small wave in return, his heart aching at how natural it feels to interact with them. He watches through the window as Elena helps the kids into the car. Before getting in, she glances back at the cafe. Their eyes meet one more time across the distance. So much longing and uncertainty passes between them in that single look. Then she's gone, the car pulling away and disappearing down the street. Ethan realizes he's still standing there inside the cafe, the napkin in her handwriting, with his number clutched in his hand. His hands are trembling. He sinks into the chair Elena vacated, his mind a whirlwind. In the span of 5 minutes, his world has flipped upside down. Elena is back. Elena has children. 3 of them. He stares down at the napkin, now a little crumpled from her grip. She took it. That means she's willing to talk. A cautious hope blooms in his chest, fragile but bright. He's not going to waste this chance. A small, incredulous laugh escapes him, drawing a curious glance from Jenna behind the counter. Ethan doesn't care if he looks foolish. After years of grey loneliness, suddenly there's colour in his world again. Stepping back outside, Ethan squints at the morning sun now fully risen over the city. The cold air bites at his cheeks, but he barely feels it. His mind is racing with questions. Who is the father of those children? An ugly knot of jealousy and dread tightens in his stomach. Is Elena married? Is some other man the father, raising kids with her? But those kids, the resemblance he thought he saw, wasn't just wishful thinking, was it? Could that be why she disappeared without a trace? The mere possibility steals his breath. If they are his children, he's had 3 children all this time and never knew. How could Elena keep something like that from him? His joy wavers as confusion and a prickle of anger set in. He reminds himself he doesn't know anything for sure yet, but he needs answers, and soon. Across town later that morning, after dropping the kids at school and returning home, Elena stands at her kitchen sink, gripping the edge of the counter as she stares blankly out the window. The kids' laughter from the morning still echoes in her ears, but her heart is pounding for an entirely different reason now. Ethan. He's here, in Chicago. After all this time, she ran straight into him, with the children at her side no less. She closes her eyes, mortified and shaken. Seeing Ethan again had jolted her, stirring up emotions she thought she had under control. The second she saw his face, it felt like no time had passed at all. Part of her wanted to throw her arms around him, another part wanted to flee and never look back. And the way he looked at the kids, she saw the flash of realization in his eyes. Maybe not full understanding, but suspicion. He's a smart man. He's probably already calculating the years, the ages. Elena releases a shaky breath. She glances at the crumpled napkin in her hand, with Ethan's number scrawled on it. Her instinct screams at her to protect her children. They've never known. A father. And suddenly the man who could have been their father shows up out of nowhere. How is she supposed to handle this? When she left Ethan 6 years ago, she truly believed it was the only option. He had hurt her, not physically, but his words and his pride had cut deep. They had fought about his job offer in Seattle. He wanted to take the promotion and move there, but her life was rooted in Chicago at the time. Her mother needed her. She had a budding career of her own here. They were at an impasse, and in the heat of the argument, Ethan had said something unforgivable, that she was holding him back, that maybe they weren't meant to build a life together if she couldn't support his dreams. The memory still stings like it was yesterday. It wasn't just what he said, but the cold, dismissive tone with which he said it, as if she and their love meant nothing compared to his ambition. Elena presses a hand to her abdomen reflexively. remembering how she'd discovered she was pregnant just a week before that fight. She hadn't told Ethan yet. She was waiting for the right moment. Then that argument happened, and his cruel words devastated her. Fear and pride drove her to a snap decision. She left him without telling him about the baby, or rather babies, as she later found out at her first ultrasound. In the whirlwind of pain, she convinced herself it was better this way. Ethan had made his choice, and she wouldn't beg him to stay. She wouldn't tie him down with news of a pregnancy when he clearly wanted to fly free. There were times over the years when she questioned her decision, times when one of the kids would do something so much like him, Caleb's little frown when he's concentrating, or Ava's musical giggle that echoed Ethan's laugh, and she'd ache with the urge to call him. But she always held back. Pride, fear, lingering anger, they all kept her silent. And as more time passed, it felt impossible to reopen that chapter of her life. How do you explain to someone that you hid 3 children from them, especially after how you parted? But now it seems fate has forced her hand. Elena straightens and picks up her phone from the counter. Her fingers hover over the screen. She needs advice, and she knows exactly who to call. Within moments, she's dialing a familiar number. "Hi, honey," comes a warm, older female voice on the other end. It's Diane, Elena's mother. Elena swallows. "Mom, I ran into Ethan this morning." She forces the words out before she loses her nerve. There's a pause, then a concerned sigh. "Oh, Elena, are you all right?" I don't know." Her voice cracks slightly. "He saw me. He saw the kids, Mom." Another silence, heavier this time. Diane knows what that means. Did he realize? "I'm not sure. He knows they exist now, obviously, but I didn't confirm anything. He asked to talk later. I took his number." Diane lets out a thoughtful hum. "You always knew this day might come, especially when you moved back. Hiding from him forever wasn't going to work." Elena's eyes sting with tears she's been holding back. "I know, but I'm scared. What if he tries to take them from me? What if he hates me for what I did?" Her voice, barely above a whisper, reveals the deepest fear in her heart, that Ethan might never forgive her, or worse, that he'll want nothing to do with the children at all. "My dear, listen to me," Diane says firmly. "Ethan may have made mistakes, but from everything I remember, he was a good man. Flawed, yes, but good. And he loved you very much. If those children are his, and we both know they are, he deserves to know. And they deserve to know their father." Elena sniffles. I don't know how to start, how to explain." "With the truth," her mother replies gently. "You start with the truth. The rest will follow." They talk a while longer, Diane offering to take the kids for a weekend if Elena and Ethan need time to talk without the little ones around. Elena thanks her, comforted by her mother's steady support. After hanging up, Elena feels marginally steadier. She looks at the clock. Noon already. She'd taken the day off work. Her job as a freelance graphic designer allows flexible hours, something she's thankful for as a single mom. Perhaps she should use the time to prepare for the conversation ahead. She glances again at the napkin with Ethan's number, then at her phone. If she doesn't reach out, she suspects he will, and she can't avoid this. With a deep breath, Elena taps out a text. "Hi, it's Elena. We should talk, maybe this evening? I can come by, or meet somewhere." She hits send before she can overthink it. Almost immediately, there's a response. Ethan must have been waiting by his phone. "Elena, I'm so glad you texted. Yes, this evening works. You name the place." She suggests a quiet public park near her neighborhood, one the kids love, but that will be empty after dusk. "It's neutral ground," she adds. "Around 7? My mom will watch the kids." 7. "It is. I'll be there. Thank you, Elena," he replies. As Elena sets the phone down, her hands tremble anew. This is really happening. Tonight, she will face Ethan and tell him everything, reveal the secret she's harbored for 5 long years. Her stomach flutters with nerves, but also with a strange sense of inevitability and relief. The waiting and wondering might finally be over. Meanwhile, Ethan spends the rest of his day in a haze of anticipation and anxiety. Work is a lost cause. He sits through meetings where he absorbs nothing, his mind replaying every second of the encounter at the cafe. By lunchtime, he's given up the pretense of productivity and takes the afternoon off. He heads home to calm his nerves and prepare for seeing Elena again. He paces his living room, straightening things that don't need straightening. He has countless questions, and a slow-burning anger mixed with hurt begins to simmer. How could she not tell him about the children? If those kids are his, if even one of them is his, the thought that he has missed their first words, first steps, first everything, sends a pang of grief and frustration through him. But beneath that is hope and a tender warmth at the idea that he might be a father. He'd always dreamed of having kids with Elena someday. The timing and circumstances are all wrong. Yet here it is, reality. He walks over to a shelf where a single framed photograph sits, meticulously dusted. It's of him and Elena in their mid-20s at a beach, both sun-kissed and beaming, arms wrapped around each other. That was the summer before things fell apart, when love seemed easy and endless. He wonders if she kept any pictures of them, if she ever told the kids about him at all. Likely not, if they've never met him. The hours drag until finally it's evening. Ethan finds himself at Riverstone Park by 6:45, unable to wait at home any longer. The sun is setting, a wash of pink and orange reflecting off the pond at the center of the park. A few joggers and dog walkers pass by, but as expected for a chilly evening, it's mostly empty and quiet. He pulls his coat tighter and waits under the old oak tree that Elena had suggested as their meeting spot. A tree that, unbeknownst to him, she and the kids often picnic under in warmer months. At exactly 7, Elena appears, walking down the path toward him. She's wearing a long burgundy coat and a grey knit scarf, her hands tucked in pockets, shoulders slightly hunched against the cold. Ethan's heart lurches at the sight of her. She came. He raises a hand in a timid wave, and she gives a small nod in return as she approaches. For a moment, they just stand there, a few feet apart, taking each other in. The dim twilight paints her features softly, but he can see the tension in her posture, the uncertainty in her eyes. "Hi," he says gently, breaking the silence. "Hi," she replies, equally soft. There's a long pause. Both of them have so much to say, yet they're tiptoeing on the edge of it, unsure how to begin. Finally, Ethan takes a breath. He has to start somewhere. "Thank you for agreeing to meet me." Elena offers a faint, nervous smile. "Of course. I figured we have a lot to talk about." He nods, shoving his hands into his coat pockets to hide their shaking. How have you been? Are you living here now, in Chicago? And the kids?" He trails off, not sure how to even phrase the million-dollar question. "Yes, I moved back a few months ago," Elena replies. She shifts on her feet. "My mom was sick, she's better now. But I wanted to be near her. And I thought maybe enough time had passed that I could handle being back here." She bites her lip and glances down. "Apparently I underestimated what seeing you would do to me." Ethan's chest tightens with a mix of remorse and affection. Seeing you was a shock, a wonderful shock, but still, he shakes his head, trying to organize his thoughts. "I missed you, Elena. I looked for you, for a long time. You didn't want to be found." There's an unintended edge to his tone, old hurt surfacing. Elena closes her eyes briefly. "I know. I'm sorry. I didn't handle things the right way. I was hurt and scared, and I ran. And then, time just kept passing." Ethan struggles to keep his voice calm. "Those kids," he says, voice unsteady despite his effort. "They looked about 5. Did you meet someone? Right after me?" He hates how small and wounded he sounds asking that. But he has to know. Elena sucks in a breath, tears glinting in her eyes now. This is it, the moment to finally say it. "No, Ethan, there was never anyone else after you." Her voice wavers. "Ava, Bella, and Caleb. They're 5. They'll be 6 in a couple of months." She pauses, her face crumpling with emotion as she summons the courage. "They're your children, Ethan. Our children." It's different hearing it stated plainly, even though he'd already suspected. Ethan feels the world spin. He steadies himself by bracing a hand against the oak tree's rough bark. "Mine," he whispers. That simple word carries a world of meaning. His knees feel weak. Elena steps closer instinctively, worried he might actually faint. "Ethan, I'm so sorry," she says hurriedly, her voice thick. "I should have told you. I was wrong to keep it from you. Before our fight I found out I was pregnant. I was going to tell you, I swear, but then when you said you didn't want anything holding you back, I thought you wouldn't want us, that you'd resent me or feel trapped. And I was hurt and prideful, so I left." A tear slips down her cheek. "Then I found out I was having triplets, and it just got harder and harder to imagine calling. Every day I thought about it, but I lost the courage each time." Ethan listens, heart breaking and mending in the same breath. He steps forward, almost unconsciously, and gently wipes the tear from her cheek with his thumb. It's an achingly familiar gesture, something he used to do whenever she cried during a sappy movie or a touching moment. "I was a fool back then," he says softly, guilt heavy in every word. "I said awful things I didn't mean. I never wanted to lose you, Elena, and I certainly... God, if I'd known you were pregnant, I would have dropped everything." His voice cracks with regret. "You and our babies were never an inconvenience. My pride it blinded me, and I've paid for it. Every day since you left." She looks up at him, eyes shining with tears and remorse. "I shouldn't have assumed. I robbed you of 5 years with them, with us. I can never undo that." She covers her face with her hands, overcome with guilt. "I'm so sorry." Without thinking, Ethan closes the gap and wraps his arms around her. It's the first time they've touched in 6 years. Elena stiffens for a half-second in surprise, then melts into his embrace, a quiet sob escaping as she buries her face in his chest. He holds her tight beneath the old oak tree as the last light of day fades, stroking her back soothingly. "We both made mistakes," he whispers into her hair, his own tears finally falling. "But we found each other again. Maybe we have a chance to make it right." Elena pulls back slightly to look at him. "Do we? I don't know how to even begin making this right, Ethan. There's so much to figure out." He cups her face tenderly in his hands, one step at a time. "I want to meet them. Ava, Bella, Caleb. I want to know everything about them, please." Her breath catches at the earnest, almost childlike hope in his eyes. "Okay," she nods. You should meet them. They've actually been asking about their father lately." She gives a sad, soft laugh. "I always told them that he was a kind man who loved their mommy, but that we lost touch. I didn't want them to think ill of you or of themselves. I figured I'd have to explain someday. I just was afraid." Ethan's eyes widen in amazement. "They know about me, in a way." She nods. "In broad strokes. They don't know your name or details, just that you exist, somewhere." Ethan lets out a shaky breath of relief. "Thank you for not turning me into a villain in their eyes. You had every right to hate me." "I never hated you, Ethan," she whispers. "I was hurt, angry sometimes. But I never hated you. I loved you. A part of me always will." He feels warmth flood his chest. "I love you too, Elena. I never stopped." It feels so natural to confess that under the twilight sky. Maybe it's too soon. Maybe it complicates things. But it's the truth that's been burning in him for years. She looks down, wiping her tears. "This isn't just about us anymore. It's about them. We have to do what's right for them." "Absolutely," he agrees immediately. "They come first. So, how do we do this? Would it be okay if I come by tomorrow? I could pick them up from school with you, or... I don't know the best way to introduce myself. I don't want to confuse or scare them." Elena thinks for a moment, considering. "Maybe I can tell them tomorrow morning that a friend of mine, an old friend, is coming to meet them. I won't drop it all on them at once. Let's see how they feel around you first. They're friendly kids. They'll probably take to you quickly." A hint of a smile plays on her lips as she adds, "Ava might challenge you to a game of tag right away. She's bold. Bella will probably be shy at first, but she warms up once she feels safe. And Caleb, he's gentle and curious. He loves toy trucks, as you saw. Ethan's face lights up as she describes each child's personality. It strikes Elena how much he looks like the old Ethan when he smiles like that, hopeful, enthusiastic. They sound wonderful, he says softly, awe in his voice. But what about eventually telling them who I am? I don't want to wait too long. They deserve the truth too. Elena nods. One step at a time, maybe after a few meetings. I'll know when it's right. I need to be sure they're comfortable first. That makes sense, Ethan concedes. I'll follow your lead. I don't want to mess this up. I'll do whatever it takes to earn their trust. And yours. She gives him a long, tender look, a look that tells him he's already on the right path. All right. Tomorrow, meet me at the school gate at 3 p.m. It's Little Oak Elementary, just a few blocks from here. I know the place, he says. He vaguely recalls passing that school before, never imagining his own children might be inside it. They part soon after, exchanging a few more practical details. Elena's mother will watch the kids for an extra hour after school, so Elena and Ethan can take them to a nearby park together for a casual meeting. It's all laid out with careful precision, as if planning a delicate operation. Before they turn to go, they share a hesitant smile. In that gentle curve of her lips, Ethan sees hope, and Elena sees sincerity. Without words they both understand. This is the start of something new, yet something that always should have been. That night, they lie awake in their separate homes, hearts fluttering with nerves and cautious excitement for what tomorrow will bring. Before we continue, if you've been captivated by this emotional reunion so far, please give this video a thumbs up and let us know in the comments what you think Ethan should do to prove himself as a father. Your support means the world to us, and we love hearing from you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, join our family by subscribing so you won't miss what happens next in this story. Trust me, the story just began. Now, back to the story. The next day arrives with a crisp, bright afternoon. Ethan stands outside the gates of Little Oak Elementary, heart thudding in his chest, as children trickle out into the arms of waiting parents and babysitters. He feels conspicuous, a lone man amid clusters of moms, dads and nannies. But he doesn't care. His eyes are fixed on the school doors, scanning anxiously for three little faces he's only just learned he has every right to claim as his own. At last, he sees Elena walking toward the gate, holding hands with two little ones, while the third skips ahead a bit. Ava is the one hopping excitedly, her pink backpack bouncing with each jump. Bella clings to Elena's hand, looking around thoughtfully, and Caleb holds Elena's other hand, clutching an art project made of paper and glitter. Ethan's breath catches. There they are, his children. An almost magnetic pull urges him forward, but he stays where he is, letting Elena take the lead as they planned. Ava is the first to notice him. She stops hopping and points openly. "Mommy, who's that man? He's smiling at us." Elena gently releases their hands as they reach Ethan. "Kids, this is Mr. Ethan," she says in a warm, steady voice. "He's an old friend of mine. Remember I told you someone special was coming to meet you today?" Three pairs of eyes study Ethan with open curiosity. Ava's face lights up with recognition. "Oh, the friend who knew you when you were young?" Elena nods. Bella peeks from behind her mother's coat, eyeing Ethan shyly. Caleb, however, steps forward, the most courageous of the trio in this moment, and looks up at Ethan with his big brown eyes. "Hi," Caleb says, in a small but clear voice. Ethan immediately crouches down to their level, a warm, slightly trembling smile on his face. "Hi there," he says softly. "It's really nice to meet you. Your mom has told me a lot about you." Ava giggles. "Mommy said you live in a tall building." She blurts out. Elena flushes lightly. "They asked a lot of questions this morning," she explains to Ethan with an apologetic smile. Ethan lets out a bright laugh. "It's true, I do live in a tall apartment building downtown. Maybe you can visit someday and see the view from the balcony. You can see the whole city from up there. Do you have toys at your house?" Ava asks boldly. "Ava," Bella hisses, mortified by her sister's bluntness and tugging on Elena's sleeve in embarrassment. "It's okay," Ethan chuckles gently. He notices Bella's discomfort and gives her a friendly wink, then answers Ava's question. "You know, I don't have many toys at home right now. I haven't had anyone to play with them in a long time. But," he leans in conspiratorially, "I was thinking of getting some. What do you think I should get?" Ava's eyes go wide at the opportunity to advise a grown-up on toy shopping. "I like dolls," Bella pipes up softly before Ava can monopolize the answer, surprising even Elena. Bella's clutching her little backpack and mustering courage. "And coloring books," she adds. Ava jumps in. "I like running and playing tag, and dress up and princesses." Caleb steps closer, holding up his glittery art project as if presenting a masterpiece. "I made a fire truck today," he announces proudly to Ethan. Ethan examines the messy but charming craft with exaggerated seriousness. "Wow, that's a great fire truck, Caleb. You like trucks, huh?" Caleb nods vigorously, a grin breaking free. "Fire trucks are the best. Wee oo wee oo." He imitates a siren, making Ethan and Elena laugh. Ethan's heart feels like it might burst. They're perfect. In this short span, each child has shown him a glimpse of their personality, and he finds himself falling in love with all three on the spot. He has to resist the overwhelming urge to hug them. He doesn't want to overstep or startle them. Instead, he matches their energy. "You know," he says, eyes twinkling, "when I was little, I loved fire trucks too. I even got to ride in one once at a fair." All three children's jaws drop in unison. "No way," Ava exclaims, clearly impressed. Bella's shyness begins to melt away in her curiosity. "Were you a firefighter, Mr. Ethan?" she asks softly. He smiles. "Not exactly. I work with computers now, but I have a friend who's a firefighter, and he let me sit in the fire truck. It had so many buttons and switches." As he chats with them, Elena watches with a mixture of relief and amazement. Ethan's natural ease with the kids is palpable. There were so many ways this could have gone. She had dreaded tears or fear or awkwardness. But within minutes, Ava is chattering at him a mile a minute. Bella is inching out from behind her leg, and Caleb is practically glued to Ethan's side, little hand occasionally reaching to tug on Ethan's sleeve to get his attention for another question. They walk together to a small park down the street, as planned. Ava and Bella each insist on holding one of Elena's hands, while Caleb boldly slips his hand into Ethan's. Ethan glances at Elena, eyes shining. Her heart gives a fluttering leap at the sight of her son holding his father's hand for the first time. At the park, the triplets make a beeline for the playground. Ava tugs on Ethan's arm. "Can you push us on the swings, Mr. Ethan? Please." "Pretty please," Bella adds, gazing up at him with those big brown eyes he now knows mirror his own. Ethan chuckles. "I'd be happy to." Soon, gleeful shrieks fill the air as Ethan pushes Ava and Bella higher and higher on the swings. "Not too high," Elena calls, ever protective. Caleb, not as interested in swings, eagerly drags Elena to watch him climb the mini rock wall. But after a moment, the little boy's attention swings back to Ethan. He scampers over and asks with utmost seriousness, "Mr. Ethan, can you help me across the monkey bars? I'm big, but not that big." Ethan immediately jogs over. "Of course, buddy." He stands under the monkey bars and lifts Caleb by the waist. The boy grasps the bar and swings to the next. Ethan moves with him, supporting him the whole way. "You've got it. One more bar." "Yes." When Caleb reaches the platform on the other side, he throws his arms up like a gymnast finishing a routine. Ethan applauds with gusto. "Gold medal for you." Caleb beams. "Did you see, Mummy? I did it. I saw." Elena cheers from the bench where she's now sitting. "Good job, sweetie." Soon a rousing game of tag ensues at Ava's insistence. Everyone has to play, even grown-ups. Ethan is it first. The children shriek with delight as he chases them in exaggerated slow motion, arms outstretched like a goofy monster. He catches Ava by gently grabbing her backpack, and she collapses into giggles. Elena watches from the sidelines, her face hurting from how hard she's smiling. For a moment she feels an odd guilt, as if she'd stolen this happiness from Ethan for years, but seeing them now, joy quickly replaces regret. After they've all run themselves breathless, they settle on a picnic blanket Elena brought, under the shade of a large oak. Elena passes around juice boxes and apple slices as the kids excitedly compete to share stories with Ethan. "So, Mr. Ethan," Ava says between slurps of apple juice, "do you have a girlfriend?" Elena chokes on her sip of water, eyes widening. "Ava," she admonishes, cheeks flushing pink. That's not a polite question. Ethan, however, just laughs, a warm, hearty sound. "It's all right. No, Ava, I don't have a girlfriend." Ava considers this thoughtfully. "Then you can be Mommy's boyfriend again," she declares with the bluntness of a child, clapping her hands once as if she solved a puzzle. This time, it's Ethan's turn to flush, and Elena covers her face with one hand, mortified. "Ava, goodness. We'll talk about that later," Ethan interjects gently, shooting Elena a kind, if slightly embarrassed smile. He changes the subject smoothly. "Guess what? I was thinking of going to the zoo this weekend. I haven't been in ages. Would you three maybe want to come with me? And your mom, of course?" He looks at Elena to make sure it's all right. She nods softly, relief in her eyes that he diffused the situation. "The zoo?" Caleb's eyes light up. "We love the zoo," Bella says quietly but excitedly. "I want to see the butterflies and the lion." Ava bounces on the blanket. "I want to see the monkeys again, and the dolphin show." "Then it's a date," Ethan smiles. "We'll do the whole zoo and see everything you want." As they chat, the afternoon sun drifts lower and the breeze picks up. Elena notices Bella crawling into Ethan's lap with her coloring book, something she typically only does with family. But Bella seems completely at ease as Ethan helps her color within the lines of a princess drawing, praising her choice of a purple gown. Ava is braiding clover flowers into a little crown for herself and plops it onto Ethan's head, giggling at how the white flowers stick out in his dark hair. Caleb proudly lines up a row of action figures he'd stuffed in his backpack, showing them off to Mr. Ethan one by one. It's pure, simple bliss. Elena wishes she could freeze this moment, one she never dared imagine until now. Suddenly, Bella winces and lets out a small whimper. In her excitement climbing onto Ethan's lap earlier, she scraped her knee on the blanket. Elena notices a tiny smear of blood on her daughter's pale yellow tights. "Ouchie," Bella murmurs, her lower lip trembling as she looks at the scrape. Elena starts to reach for her purse, ready with a bandage, but Ethan is already on it. He gently shifts Bella to get a better look. "Oh no, the brave princess got a little hurt," he says sympathetically. Bella sniffles, trying to be brave. From his pocket, Ethan produces a clean handkerchief. Elena can't help but smile. He's always been a bit old-fashioned in that way, carrying a handkerchief. With gentle care, he dabs the scrape through the torn tights to clean off the dirt. "Fear not, Princess Bella. I have magic healing powers for boo-boos," he declares softly, making a goofy wizard gesture with his free hand. Bella manages a tiny wet laugh. "Magic powers?" "Absolutely," Ethan whispers. He leans down and blows lightly on her knee, the age-old remedy of parents everywhere, then covers the scrape with his handkerchief like a magician concealing a trick. "Abracadabra," he intones dramatically. "Behold, all better." He whisks the handkerchief away with a flourish. Bella actually giggles, the tears in her eyes not yet fallen. "It's not all better," she points out, ever so practical, but she's clearly more amused than hurt now. You're right. I see a little scratch still." Ethan nods gravely. "It definitely needs one more thing, a super special bandage." He looks up at Elena. "Do we have any superhero band-aids on hand?" Elena, smiling broadly at his antics, quickly retrieves a band-aid from her bag. It's adorned with cartoon puppies, but it'll do. Ethan peels it and carefully places it over the tiny scrape on Bella's knee. "There we go. The brave princess is healed," he announces. Without warning, Bella throws her small arms around Ethan's neck, giving him a shy but heartfelt hug. "Thank you," she whispers. Ethan's eyes widen and then soften as he returns the hug gently, cradling the back of her head. His throat works as he swallows hard, emotions threatening to overwhelm him. "You're very welcome, Bella," he says, voice slightly husky. Elena quickly blinks away tears watching this tender exchange. She has to look away for a moment to compose herself. When she glances back, she sees Ethan gently ruffle Bella's curls as the little girl settles happily against him. The afternoon wears on in contentment. Eventually, the sun dips low and golden over the park, signaling that it's time to wrap things up. Elena checks her watch. "All right, my loves," she calls softly. "Grandma's expecting us for dinner soon. We should get going." A chorus of "oh" rises in protest. "Do we have to, Mummy?" Ava pleads, dragging out the last words dramatically. "Can Mr. Ethan come for dinner?" Caleb asks innocently, not wanting the fun to end. Elena hesitates, caught off guard by the request. She looks at Ethan, who seems equally surprised but pleased by the invitation shining in his son's eyes. "I would love to have dinner with you," Ethan replies kindly, "but maybe another time. I'm sure your grandma wants to spend time with you all tonight. Tomorrow, then?" Caleb persists with a hopeful grin, clearly not understanding scheduling nuances, just wanting more time with his new friend. Elena bites her lip and meets Ethan's eyes. She can see how much he, too, hates to say goodbye. He's been nothing short of wonderful today. Still, this is so new, for all of them. Perhaps a little space until the zoo trip would be wise, even if her heart says, "Let's all stay together longer." "We'll see each other very soon, I promise," Ethan assures the kids, rising to his feet. "Remember, the zoo on Saturday." That satisfies them. The triplets begin chattering excitedly about the zoo as Elena gathers their things. Ethan helps, folding the picnic blanket, while Elena packs up the half-eaten snacks and crayons. They walk back to the parking lot together, under a sky streaked pink and orange. As Elena buckles the children into their car seats, each of them pipes up in their own way. "Bye, Mr. Ethan. See you at the zoo." Ava calls, blowing him a dramatic kiss that makes him chuckle. "Bye-bye, Mr. Ethan," Caleb says, waving with both hands. "Don't forget about the elephants." Bella, already snug with her stuffed bunny, gives a small wave and a shy smile. "Bye, Mr. Ethan," she says, almost like she's testing out the words. "Thank you for playing with us." Ethan's heart feels so full he fears it might burst. "Goodbye for now, kiddos," he says softly. "I had the best time with you today. Thank you for letting me play." He raises a finger as if making a solemn vow. "I'll see you again very soon, all right?" "That's a promise." 3 little heads nod. 3 little voices say, "Promise." Elena closes the back door and turns to Ethan. There's a gentle quiet between them now, as the kids' excited voices are muffled inside the car. Sunset light gilds the edges of Elena's face, and Ethan can't help thinking she's never looked more beautiful than in this moment, a mother glowing with relief and happiness. "Thank you," she says, her voice warm and sincere, "for being so good with them. I couldn't have imagined it going better." Ethan shakes his head. "Thank you for letting me meet them. This has been the best day of my life," he admits with a bashful chuckle, as if feeling a bit silly to be so sentimental. But he means it. He gazes at her, a quiet question in his eyes. They've been so focused on the children that they haven't had a moment to talk about themselves since last night. Softly, he asks, "How are you doing with all this?" Elena tucks a stray curl behind her ear, considering. "Relieved," she says after a moment. "Seeing you with them. I feel like maybe I finally did something right by letting this happen. They adore you already." I could see it in their faces. Ethan steps a little closer, lowering his voice so the kids won't hear. "I adore them too. And," he swallows, his heart thudding, "I adore you, Elena." That hasn't changed. If anything, it's only grown. He reaches out and tentatively takes her hand, as if afraid she might pull away. She doesn't. Instead, she intertwines her fingers with his, giving them a gentle squeeze. Her eyes glisten. "It scares me how easy it is to be around you," she confesses, "like we could just pick up where we left off." A shadow of pain crosses his expression. "Where we left off was pretty rough, though. I know we can't just forget that. I hurt you deeply. I was a cocky idiot too, focused on my own wants, and I let you down. I'm so sorry, Elena, for everything. She steps closer, their clasped hands between them. And I'm sorry I ran. That I didn't give you a chance to take back what you said, or to be there for us. We both handled it badly. He nods, the self-reproach in his eyes slowly giving way to hope. Maybe all that had to happen for us to grow up a little. I'm not that selfish 26-year-old anymore. Life knocked me down a peg after you left. And maybe you had to learn that you don't have to do everything alone. Elena tilts her head, a soft smile on her lips. Maybe. All I know is I'm willing to try, if you are. Not just for the kids, but for us. Ethan's face breaks into a smile that could outshine the lingering sunset. I'm more than willing. I want my family together, Elena. I want to be with you, and with them, for as long as I live. Her breath catches at the earnest passion in his voice. I want that too, she whispers, eyes shining. It takes all his willpower not to kiss her right then and there, but he restrains himself, mindful that the kids are watching curiously from inside the car. Instead, he lifts their joined hands and presses a soft kiss to the back of hers. The gesture is sweet and old-fashioned, sending a pleasant flutter through Elena's stomach. I'll follow your lead on the pace of things, he promises. Whatever you need, whatever the kids need, I'll do it. She beams at him. Thank you. With one last squeeze of his hand, she reluctantly lets go and moves to the driver's door. I'll call you tonight, okay? Maybe once they're asleep. I'd like that, he says, taking a step back, but keeping his eyes on her. He stays there as she starts the car. 3 little hands wave wildly from the back seat. Ethan waves back, grinning from ear to ear. Elena mouths by with a warm look. As the car pulls away, Ethan stands in the dusk, watching the taillights until they disappear around a corner. He exhales, realizing he'd been holding his breath again. The evening air is cold, but he feels a glow of warmth within that nothing can snuff out. For the first time in 6 years, his heart is buoyant with hope rather than weighed down by loss. That night, true to her word, Elena calls. They spend hours on the phone after the kids fall asleep, talking quietly about everything and nothing, their favorite moments from the day, the funny things the kids said, how Ava tried to convince Grandma Diane over dinner that Mr. Ethan should live with us because he's lonely in his tall building. They laugh, they share bits of the intervening years that they haven't yet. Ethan talks about how empty his promotions felt with no one to celebrate with. Elena confesses the nights she cried herself to sleep missing him. When they finally say goodnight, it's with the knowledge that this is the first of many nights they'll end the day in each other's lives again. Over the next few days, Ethan becomes a steady presence in the children's routine. He joins Elena for the zoo trip that weekend, which is a smashing success. The triplets excitedly drag their father from exhibit to exhibit. Though they don't yet call him that to his face, they now know the truth. Ava perches on Ethan's shoulders to get a better look at the monkeys swinging about, and squeals loud enough to turn heads when one of them hoots back at her. Bella insists on leading him by the hand through the butterfly garden, where he stands very still as delicate wings flutter around them, one even landing on his shoulder. Caleb can't contain his awe when Ethan lifts him up at the elephant enclosure, giving him the perfect vantage to see the magnificent creatures flap their ears and spray water. Through it all, Elena and her mother, who also came along, watch with full hearts. Diane formally meets Ethan again during a picnic lunch at the zoo. While the kids chase a peacock that had wandered near the tables under Elena's watchful eye, Diane sits beside Ethan and quietly thanks him for coming back into their lives. You know, you broke her heart, she says bluntly, but not unkindly, patting his hand. But you also mended it by being here now. I see the way you love those children. I see the way you look at my daughter. I couldn't ask for more. Ethan has to blink away tears at that, managing to say, thank you for taking care of them all these years. Diane just smiles and gives him a quick, unexpected hug. When Elena returns to the table, she notices Ethan's eyes a bit red and her mother humming contentedly to herself. She can guess the topic of their conversation and feels gratitude swell within her. By the end of the weekend, the trio has fully and unequivocally accepted Mr. Ethan as a beloved part of their world. It's time, Elena and Ethan know, to tell them the truth explicitly. The following evening, they decide to talk to the children together at home, with Diane nearby for support if needed. After dinner, the family gathers in the living room. Ava, Bella, and Caleb sit on the rug with their coloring books, and Ethan and Elena exchange a meaningful glance from the couch. Elena nods. She'll start. "Kids," she says gently, her heart pounding, "remember how I told you Mr. Ethan is a very old friend of mine?" 3 little heads nod, looking up at her expectantly. "Well," Elena continues, voice tender but steady, "there's something special about him I want you to know." She reaches for Ethan's hand, and he takes it, smiling reassuringly. "Mr. Ethan isn't just my friend. He's actually your daddy." For a moment, there's pure silence aside from the soft hum of the heater. The children look at their mother, then at Ethan, then back at their mother, processing the words. Caleb is the first to react. His eyes widen and he whispers, "He is? Really?" There is wonder and a spark of happiness in his tone, like something clicking into place. Elena feels tears prick her eyes and she nods, smiling. "Yes, sweetheart, really, he's your father." Ava's face splits into the biggest grin imaginable. She bounces once where she sits. "I knew he was special. I knew it, I knew it." She turns to Ethan, excitement radiating from her. "Does that mean we can call you Daddy now? Can I? Ethan, who had been holding his breath, lets out a laugh mixed with a sob. He slides off the couch onto his knees to be on their level, still holding Elena's hand for strength. "Yes," he says, voice thick with emotion. "You can call me Daddy. I'd like that. I'd like that very much." Bella hasn't said anything yet. She sits very still, her coloring book forgotten in her lap. Her lower lip trembles, and suddenly she bursts into tears. Alarmed, Elena and Ethan both reach for her. "Bella, honey, what's wrong?" Elena asks softly, pulling her daughter onto her lap as Ethan scoots close. Through a hiccup, Bella manages to get out. Does that mean you'll go away again?" It takes a second for them to understand. Ethan's heart cracks. He gently takes Bella's hand in both of his. "Oh, Bella, no," he says earnestly. "No, sweetheart, I'm not going anywhere. I promise you." He looks each of them in the eyes, his own shining with tears now. "I promise all of you. I didn't know about you before, and that's why I wasn't here. But now that I do, I will always be here for you. For anything you need, I will never leave you." Bella sniffles, considering his words. Then she lunges forward out of Elena's arms and into Ethan's, wrapping herself around his neck just like she did in the park, but tighter this time. "I don't want you to leave," she whispers fiercely. Ethan holds her close, one hand cradling her head. "I won't, my brave girl. I won't." As if a signal was given, Ava and Caleb pile into the hug too, knocking Ethan back onto his heels. He laughs as tears stream down his face. He's literally bowled over by his children. Easy, easy. He chuckles, shifting so he can hug all 3 at once. Elena slips off the couch to join them on the floor, encircling them with her arms as well. It's a tangle of limbs and warmth and crying and laughter. From the doorway, Diane quietly dabs her eyes with a tissue, witnessing the family she always prayed would one day be whole. "I love you, Daddy," Ava declares boldly, planting a wet kiss on Ethan's cheek. "Love you, Daddy," Caleb echoes, not to be outdone, squeezing Ethan's arm. Bella pulls back just enough to look at Ethan's face, her own cheeks wet, but a smile finally forming. "Love you, Daddy," she whispers, almost shy with the new word, but it comes out so sweet and certain. Ethan loses the battle with his tears entirely then. He presses his forehead to Bella's and nods, closing his eyes. "I love you, my little ones," he chokes out softly. "I love you so, so much. I'm the luckiest daddy in the world." Elena sniffles, resting her head on Ethan's shoulder as she hugs the kids from the other side. "And I'm the luckiest mommy," she adds, her eyes on Ethan's. "We're a family now." The children cheer at that word. Family. It's as if saying it out loud makes it real. That night, they all go through the bedtime routine together. It takes longer than usual, partly because the kids keep finding excuses to get extra hugs from Daddy, as if making sure he'll still be there each time they look, and partly because Ethan insists on hearing 2 bedtime stories since he has a lot of catching up to do. Elena reads one, a whimsical tale about a dragon, and Ethan reads the other, doing all the silly voices that send the kids into fits of giggles. When at last the triplets yawn and snuggle into their pillows, Ethan and Elena quietly tiptoe out of their bedroom. They pause in the hallway, watching the little trio for a moment through the crack in the door. 3 small bodies curled up under their blankets, 3 little faces peaceful and content. Elena turns to Ethan, her eyes shining in the dim light. "We did it," she whispers, echoing the very words she uttered when they all hugged in the living room earlier. He wraps an arm around her waist, pulling her gently against him. "We did," he murmurs back, pressing a kiss to her temple. "I still can't believe this is real." She smiles up at him. "It's real. They love you so much. I knew they would, but seeing it..." She breaks off, emotion welling too high. Ethan tenderly brushes a tear from her cheek with his thumb. "Thank you for giving me this chance, for giving us another chance." Elena stands on her toes and closes the small gap between them, kissing him softly. This time, there's no hesitation, no worry. It's just them, 2 souls who have found their way back. The kiss is sweet and lingering, an unspoken promise of love and commitment. When they part, both are smiling. "I missed that," he says quietly, resting his forehead against hers. "Me too," she replies, eyes shining. They retire to the living room couch, not quite ready to let the night end. Curled up together under a throw blanket, they talk late into the night about plans for the future. There's so much to discuss: living arrangements, his apartment or her house, or somewhere new, how to handle preschool drop-offs now, favorite breakfast foods of each kid. Ethan commits to memory that Ava likes pancakes, Bella prefers oatmeal, and Caleb will eat anything with peanut butter, and countless other details of daily life that they are eager to share. At one point, Elena falls asleep, head on Ethan's shoulder, lulled by the steady rise and fall of his chest. Ethan stays awake a while longer, simply watching her breathe, his heart full. He gently kisses her hair and whispers, "I'll never let you go again," words meant only for sleeping ears, but a vow he intends to keep. Little did they know, their newfound happiness was about to face a sudden test. As the weeks pass, Ethan seamlessly becomes an indispensable part of their lives. He and Elena ease into parenting and rekindling their relationship all at once. Monday through Friday, Ethan swings by in the mornings to help wrangle 3 energetic kids into their coats and shoes. He's especially good at coaxing Ava out of bed by making her stuffed animals talk to her. He meets them after school to take everyone for ice cream or to the park if Elena's still at work, and he stays for dinner nearly every evening. Laughter, once rare in Elena's home, is now a constant, bouncing off the walls. It's not without its adjustments. Co-parenting comes with a learning curve. Ethan sometimes feels like he's stumbling through things Elena has long mastered, like the intricate art of braiding 2 identical heads, of curly hair before school, or remembering that Bella needs her nightlight on the left side of the room, not right. Elena, used to doing everything herself, occasionally forgets to let Ethan lighten her load more than once he arrives to find her. Exhausted after juggling grocery shopping and toddler tantrums, and he gently reminds her, "I'm here now, let me help." There are minor disagreements too. Ethan, eager to make up for lost time, has to learn that saying yes to every request like a new toy every other day isn't necessarily the best parenting strategy, while Elena learns to loosen up a bit on her routines to include Ethan's input. But these bumps are navigated with patience and communication. Every night after the kids are asleep, Elena and Ethan debrief what went well, what was hard, and what they can do better as partners and parents. They're determined not to let anything break the family they've rebuilt. Little do they know, life is about to throw them one more curveball to test that resolve. One chilly evening, a couple of months later, they face their first true scare as a family. It's well past the kids' bedtime on a Tuesday. Dinner was a lively affair of spaghetti and meatballs, most of which ended up on Caleb's face and the floor, to much laughter. Now the triplets should be asleep, but Elena and Ethan suddenly hear a faint, muffled crying coming from the girls' bedroom. Elena is on her feet in an instant. Ethan right behind her as they hurry down the hall. They gently push open the door. The nightlight casts a soft glow, illuminating Bella sitting up in bed, clutching her stomach and quietly sobbing. Ava is awake too, kneeling beside her twin with a hand on Bella's back, looking worried and sleepy. Elena is at Bella's side in a heartbeat. "Baby, what's wrong?" she whispers, keeping her voice calm, though panic is already sparking in her chest at seeing her child in pain. "My tummy. It really hurts," Bella whimpers. Her face is flushed and tears streak her cheeks. She's usually the stoic one. For her to cry like this, it must be bad. Ethan quickly presses the back of his hand to Bella's forehead. "It's warm, too warm. She's burning up," he murmurs. He had taken off his jacket earlier. Now he drapes it around Bella over her pajamas to keep her warm. Ava crawls out of the way as Elena lifts Bella into her arms, feeling the heat rolling off her small body. In the doorway, Caleb appears rubbing his eyes, drawn by the commotion. "Is Bella okay?" he asks in a tiny voice, fear creeping in. Ethan steps over and scoops Caleb up. "Bella's not feeling well, bud," he explains gently, "but we're going to take care of her. Don't worry." Elena carries Bella to the living room couch and lays her down. Bella curls up, clutching her middle, another pained cry escaping her lips. Elena's heart clenches in panic. This isn't just a little tummy ache. Something's wrong. Ethan fetches the thermometer from the bathroom and quickly takes Bella's temperature as Elena holds her. 101.4 degrees Fahrenheit. A fever. Bella moans again, clutching her side now, her face pinched in agony. "Appendix," Elena says, the word like a stone dropping in her gut. She glances at Ethan, fear in her eyes. It might be her appendix. Ethan's own stomach flips. He knows the signs: pain, fever, clutching the lower right side. They can't take any chances. "We need to get her to the hospital. Now." Elena nods, trying to stay calm for Bella's sake even as adrenaline surges through her. She grabs her phone and calls Diane, voice shaking but urgent, explaining that they need her to come watch Ava and Caleb. Diane, alarmed, promises to be there in 10 minutes. While they wait, Ethan kneels in front of the couch, stroking Bella's hair back from her sweaty forehead. Ava and Caleb hover nearby, anxious. Ava's eyes well with tears seeing her twin like this. "Mummy, is Bella going to be okay?" she asks in a trembling voice. Elena forces a reassuring smile she doesn't entirely feel. "Yes, sweetie, we think it's something that doctors can fix, but we have to go to the hospital so they can help her." Caleb sniffles, hiding his face against Ethan's shoulder. "I'm scared," he whispers. Ethan hugs him tightly and reaches out with his free hand to pull Ava close too. "It's okay to be scared," he says softly. "But the doctors will help Bella feel better. You two will stay here with Grandma and we'll take care of everything. I promise." They can hear the wail of sirens in the distance, unrelated emergencies, and each distant shriek of an ambulance makes Elena want to jump out of her skin. It's agony, waiting even these few minutes. At last, a knock. Ethan practically flies to the door and opens it to find Diane, hastily dressed in sweats and a coat, worry etched on her face. "Go, go," she urges immediately, stepping inside. She takes Ava's and Caleb's hands, her presence calm and soothing. "I've got these two. Keep me updated." Elena exchanges a quick hug with her mom, passing off the kids with a flurry of instructions. Their overnight bag is in the closet. Caleb likes the blue sippy cup. "Don't worry about school tomorrow." Diane just waves her off gently. "Hush now, focus on Bella. I've handled a night with these rascals before. Drive safe." Ethan already has Bella bundled in his coat. She whimpers as he lifts her, and Elena feels a stab of guilt hearing her cry. She gives Ava and Caleb a quick kiss each, reassuring them once more. Then, she and Ethan are out the door, rushing to his car with their precious burden. The drive to the hospital is a blur of red lights and dark roads. Bella lies in Elena's lap in the back seat, whimpering softly with each bump. Elena murmurs soothing words, though her heart is pounding. "Almost there, baby. Hold on. Mummy's here." Ethan's hands grip the steering wheel so tight his knuckles are white. He breaks a few speed limits and prays any cop who stops them will understand. But they reach County General in record time. No sooner do they carry Bella into the ER, a small, miserable figure whimpering in her mother's arms, than a triage nurse moves them to the front of the queue, recognizing potential appendicitis in a child is nothing to wait on. Things move fast, yet painfully slow from Elena and Ethan's perspective. A blur of forms to sign, questions to answer. When did the pain start? Any vomiting? Medical history? Then Bella is whisked off for an ultrasound to confirm the suspected appendicitis. Ethan has to practically pry Bella from Elena's arms so the technicians can do their job. Their daughter cries and reaches for them as she's carried away, and it takes all of their willpower not to break down on the spot. Finally, a doctor approaches them with the scan results. Indeed, Bella's appendix is severely inflamed. She needs an emergency appendectomy immediately. It's a routine procedure, the doctor assures, performed often on kids her age, and the success rate is high. But her appendix looks close to rupturing, so time is of the essence. Elena nods numbly through the explanation, signing consent forms with a shaky hand. When asked for a second signature for parental consent, Ethan steps forward without hesitation. His hand only trembles a little as he signs his name below Elena's. It's the first time he's had the chance to do something so officially fatherly, and he feels a surge of protectiveness signing that paper, as if by putting his name down he can somehow shield his little girl from harm. They are allowed a quick minute with Bella before she's taken into the OR. Bella is on a gurney, looking impossibly small under the tangle of IV lines and monitors. She's groggy from pain medication now, but when she sees her parents, she reaches out weakly. Elena takes one hand, Ethan the other. "We're right here, sweetheart," Elena coos, leaning over to kiss her clammy forehead. "The doctors are going to fix you right up. You're being so brave." Bella's lower lip quivers. "I'm scared," she manages to say, eyes glassy with tears she's too exhausted to cry. "I know, baby," Ethan whispers, voice tight with emotion. "But it'll be okay. It won't hurt soon, I promise. Mommy and Daddy will be right here when you wake up. You won't be alone. Promise?" she asks in a tiny voice. "Promise," Elena and Ethan say together, heartfelt. Bella nods faintly, seeming comforted. As the anesthesiologist approaches to wheel her away, Elena reluctantly lets go of her little hand, and Ethan squeezes it one more time before he too releases his grip. "We love you, Bella," Elena calls softly as the team pushes the gurney through the double doors. Bella musters a small love you before the doors swing shut behind her. And just like that, their daughter is out of their hands, now in those of the surgeons. Elena stands staring at the closed doors for a moment, her arms hugging herself. Ethan steps forward and gently wraps his arms around her from behind. She turns in his embrace and finally lets the tears fall. He holds her as she sobs quietly into his chest, his own tears dampening the top of her head. They move to the waiting area, where the minutes stretch like hours. Elena alternates between sitting and pacing. Ethan runs a hand through his hair for the 100th time, anxiety eating at him. At one point, Elena sinks into a chair and drops her face into her hands. "This is my fault," she whispers harshly. "I should have noticed earlier that she wasn't feeling well. Maybe we could have caught it before it got this bad." "Don't," Ethan interrupts, kneeling in front of her and gently pulling her hands away from her face. He looks into her eyes. "This is not your fault. You're a wonderful mother. Sometimes these things just happen. What matters is we're here now, doing everything we can." She searches his face, then nods, wiping her eyes. "You're right. You're right." She takes a shaky breath and straightens. "Thank you." He leans up and kisses her forehead, then her lips softly. "We'll get through this. She'll be okay." They cling to each other, drawing strength from one another as the minutes tick by agonizingly slowly. At last, after more than an hour, the surgeon finally comes out, still in his scrubs, with a reassuring smile. "The surgery went very well," he says, approaching them. "We removed the appendix just in time. Bella's going to be just fine. She's in recovery now. You can see her as soon as she's moved to a room, which should be in the next 30 minutes or so." Elena lets out a breath that's half sob, half laugh, her hand flying to her mouth. "Oh, thank God," she whispers. Ethan feels his knees go weak with relief. He grabs the arm of a chair to steady himself and murmurs his own grateful prayer under his breath. "Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much," Ethan says earnestly, shaking the surgeon's hand. Soon, they're allowed into a quiet recovery room where Bella lies drowsily propped up on pillows, an IV in her arm and a bandage on her tummy. She looks pale and a bit confused from the anesthesia, but when she sees her parents, her face lights up weakly. "Mommy, Daddy." She croaks. "We're here, baby," Elena coos, rushing to one side of the bed to take her hand. Ethan is right behind her, gently brushing a few strands of hair off Bella's forehead. "We're right here, Princess. You did so well. We're so proud of you." It hurts a little," Bella admits, eyes welling. "I know," Elena says, trying to keep her voice from shaking. "The doctor said it might hurt, but it will feel better soon. They're giving you medicine to help." Bella nods, already fighting to keep her eyes open. The morphine is keeping the worst pain at bay and making her groggy. Did they take it out? The bad thing in my tummy." "They did." Ethan smiles softly. "They took it out and threw it away. It won't bother you ever again." A ghost of a smile crosses Bella's lips. "Good," she whispers. Elena kisses her daughter's forehead gently. "You should rest, sweetheart. We'll be here when you wake up, okay?" Bella's fingers curl around Elena's and Ethan's, who are each holding one of her hands. As she drifts back to sleep, she mumbles, "Love you, Mommy. Love you, Daddy." Tears spring anew in both Elena's and Ethan's eyes. "We love you too, my brave girl," Elena whispers. A nurse comes in to check vitals and smiles at the touching scene of both parents holding their daughter's hands. "She did great," the nurse assures them kindly. "Kids bounce back fast from these surgeries. She'll probably be asking for ice cream tomorrow." Ethan chuckles, relief making him almost giddy. "She can have a whole tub if she wants." They spend the night at the hospital, taking turns nodding off in the chair next to Bella's bed. Diane brings Ava and Caleb to visit first thing in the morning, once Bella is awake and alert enough. The twins are a bit cautious seeing their sister in a hospital bed, but when Bella gives them a weak smile and shows off her hospital bracelet, the ID tag on her wrist, and the special popsicle the nurse gave her, they relax. The doctor isn't kidding about kids bouncing back. By noon, Bella is sitting up and quietly drawing in a coloring book Ethan brought from home, while her siblings color in companion books on her bed. Elena steps out to grab a coffee from the hallway, and when she returns, she pauses at the door, heart swelling at the scene. Ethan is perched on the edge of Bella's bed, helping Caleb color within the lines, or trying to. Caleb is more interpretive with his art. Ava is braiding a lock of Bella's hair gently, and Bella is giggling at something her dad is whispering to her. Probably one of his silly jokes. It hits Elena at that moment. In the midst of what could have been a tragedy, this is her family. Strong, united, full of love. They faced this scare together, and it only solidified what matters most. Bella is discharged later that day with a tiny scar on her belly and a stuffed teddy bear from the nurses for being such a brave patient. At home, Elena insists Bella stay in her bed and rest, which Bella tolerates for exactly half a day before whining that she's bored. Ethan is more than happy to entertain. He puts on a puppet show with the kids' stuffed animals that has all three of them in stitches, and Elena shaking her head in admiration at his endless goofiness. By the next evening, Bella is up and walking slowly around the house, much to everyone's joy and relief. That night, after the kids are in bed, Bella insisted she could sleep in her own room again, with Ava right beside her keeping watch like a loyal twin. Ethan and Elena find themselves quietly cuddling on the living room couch once more. The adrenaline of the past 48 hours has finally ebbed, leaving them both a bit drained and contemplative. Ethan has an arm around Elena, who is resting her head on his chest. He kisses the top of her head. "You know, when I was sitting next to her bed in the hospital, I was thinking about how close we came to something awful, and about how I've only been their dad for a few months. It didn't feel like enough. I want a lifetime with them, with all of you." "You have that now," Elena whispers, intertwining her fingers with his. "We're not going anywhere." He's quiet for a moment. Elena can feel his heart thudding under her cheek, a bit faster than usual. "I don't ever want to lose any of you," Ethan says softly. "I've been given this gift, this second chance, and I want to make it official. I know it might seem fast, but nearly losing Bella made everything so clear." Elena pulls back slightly to look up at him. Her breath catches. She can see where he's going, in the tenderness and intensity of his gaze. "Ethan," she begins, her heart fluttering. He shifts, turning to face her fully and taking both of her hands in his. "Elena, will you marry me?" Her eyes widen, and for a moment she just stares. He wasn't kidding about not wanting to waste time. The question hangs in the air between them, full of hope and love. A slow, radiant smile spreads across Elena's face. "Yes," she breathes, barely before he finishes speaking. Then she laughs, throwing her arms around his neck. "Yes, of course I'll marry you, Ethan." Relief and joy break across his face. He wraps his arms around her, hugging her tightly, burying his face in her shoulder for a moment. When he pulls back, his eyes glisten. I didn't have a ring yet," he says apologetically, fishing in his pocket with a sheepish expression. "I was going to get one, I swear. Well, this isn't the most traditional proposal, timing-wise." He opens his palm to reveal a small novelty toy ring, one of those plastic ones from a vending machine, with a pink heart gem. Elena recognizes it. It's one Ava had gotten at a birthday party and given to Ethan as a present. "So you can have a pretty ring for when you find a wife," Ava had told him seriously while Elena looked on, amused and embarrassed. Elena laughs in delight as he slips the too small ring onto her pinky finger. It won't fit her ring finger. "It's perfect for now," she assures him. "We can pick out a real one later. Or maybe I'll just keep this one forever." He grins, then cups her face and kisses her deeply, sealing the promise. They're both smiling so hard, their teeth nearly knock together. A tiny voice interrupts from the dark hallway. "Mommy? Daddy?" They break apart to see Ava standing there in her little nightgown, squinting at them. "Why are you still up? Are you kissing?" she asks bluntly, padding toward them. Elena blushes, while Ethan chuckles. He scoops Ava up as she reaches the couch. "We're just talking, sweetheart." "What's wrong?" "Can't sleep." Ava rubs her eyes. "I had a bad dream, and I'm thirsty." Elena goes to fetch a small glass of water. Ethan holds Ava, rubbing her back. "You know what Daddy does when he has a bad dream? I think of a good memory, and I remember it really hard to push the bad thoughts away. Want to try that?" Ava nods against his shoulder. "Like going to the zoo?" "Exactly. Picture us at the zoo, all of us together. What was your favorite part?" Ava yawns. "Monkeys." "Then think about the silly monkeys," Ethan says, smiling. Elena returns, handing Ava the water. Their daughter sips it sleepily and then rests her head on Ethan again. "Daddy?" she murmurs. "Yes, love?" "Are you going to live with us all the time now, not just sleep on the couch?" she asks drowsily. Elena and Ethan share a glance over her head, both smiling. They haven't told the kids about the engagement yet, but Ava's question opens the door. "How would you feel about that?" Elena asks softly, brushing a strand of hair from Ava's forehead. "Happy," Ava answers without hesitation. "I want everyone together." Ethan hugs her a little tighter. "Me too. And yes, I am going to live with you all the time, very soon. In fact, Mommy and I are going to get married." Ava perks up just a little, eyes shining in the dim light. "Married? Like in a wedding? With cake?" "Yes." Elena laughs quietly. "With cake and a pretty dress and everything?" Ava's mouth forms a little O of wonder, but then she yawns again, the excitement battling with her exhaustion. "Can I be the flower girl? I want to throw petals." "Of course you can, sweetheart," Elena says, heart swelling. Ava nods, satisfied. Ethan carries her back to bed, where Bella is once again softly snoring, and Caleb is sprawled sideways, taking up more space than one would think a 5-year-old could. After tucking Ava back in and stealing a kiss on each child's forehead, they stand at the doorway together, watching their children sleep. "You know, we might need a bigger place soon," Ethan murmurs. This house is cozy, but with 5 of us, and maybe one day more. He arches a playful eyebrow. Elena nudges him, though the thought doesn't scare her. One step at a time, Mr. Harrington. But yes, a bigger place would be nice. With a yard, maybe, like you wanted. He wraps an arm around her waist. Whatever you want, Mrs. Harrington, to be. She smiles at the title and turns off the bedroom light. Hand in hand, they return to the living room. They announce their engagement properly the next day to Diane and the children. Diane cries tears of joy and immediately starts talking about guest lists and venues, until Elena reminds her gently that they're thinking of something small. The children's reactions are equally exuberant. Ava and Bella squeal with delight at the idea of Mommy wearing a princess dress and them getting to dress. Up too, while Caleb asks very seriously if he can carry the rings because I'm a big boy, and that's an important job. A few months later, on a beautiful spring afternoon, Ethan and Elena stand under a flowering cherry tree in Diane's backyard and exchange vows. It's a simple ceremony with just family and a few close friends. Elena wears a light ivory dress, her hair curled loosely with a few cherry blossom petals tucked in, courtesy of her fidgety little stylists. Ava and Bella insisted on helping. Ethan can't take his eyes off her the entire time. Ava and Bella do, in fact, serve as enthusiastic flower girls, strewing petals along the grass aisle before Elena walks down. Caleb stands proudly beside Marcus, Ethan's best friend and best man, holding a satin pillow with 2 rings tied to it. He took his job very seriously, walking in a slow, exaggerated manner that earned chuckles from the guests. When Elena reaches Ethan's side, she hands her bouquet off to Diane and takes both of Ethan's hands in hers. The vows are heartfelt and earnest. Ethan's voice trembles only slightly as he speaks of how losing her taught him the true value of love and how finding her again saved him. Elena talks about forgiveness and fate, how Ethan's return was like the missing piece of a puzzle snapping into place. They exchange rings, the real ones they chose together, though Elena did cheekily slip the pink plastic one into the ring box as well, causing Ethan to grin at the altar. "You may kiss the bride," the officiant finally declares, and Ethan doesn't hesitate. He sweeps Elena into a loving kiss as their children, perhaps the loudest of all the guests, cheer and clap. Ava throws the rest of her flower petals into the air like confetti. Bella jumps up and down, and Caleb beams with pride and a little relief that he didn't drop the rings. The reception is a lively family affair. They set up a long table in the yard under strings of twinkling lights. There's music, dancing. With 3 5-year-olds, it's mostly spinning in circles and stomping around, which everyone joins in on at some point. Marcus gives a toast about how he's never seen his friend Ethan this happy, and Diane gives a short, tearful speech welcoming Ethan officially into the family again. At one point, Ethan finds Elena chatting with a friend and gently pulls her aside. He leads her a few steps away from the chatter, where they can watch the party for a moment in peace. Ava is trying to teach Marcus some kind of clapping game. Caleb is showing off some dance move that's basically just wiggling, and Bella is giggling at her brother. The scene is pure joy. "Hey, Mrs. Harrington," Ethan says softly, tipping her chin up with his finger. "Hey, Mr. Harrington," she replies, smiling brilliantly. "We did it," he says, echoing the words that have become almost like a mantra for them at each big milestone. When they reunited, when they told the kids, when Bella recovered, and now here. "We certainly did," she laughs. He wraps his arms around her from behind as they continue to watch their children play. "I can't imagine life being any better than this," he murmurs contentedly. Elena leans back into him. "It will be," she says. "Watching these 3 grow up, doing it together, it will only get better." And she's right. In the years that follow, their family grows even stronger. They move into a new home a few streets over, with a yard and enough bedrooms for everyone, as well as an office for Ethan, which quickly becomes a playroom overflow space for the kids' toys. The triplets start 1st grade, then 2nd, each developing their own interests and personalities. Ava becomes a bold, social butterfly who loves performing. She keeps asking when she can be a big sister, an idea that makes Ethan and Elena exchange amused looks and maybe someday answers. Bella blossoms into a quiet confidence, excelling at art and forever remaining the thoughtful observer of the trio. Caleb's gentle nature is paired with an early love of science. At 8, he declares he'll be a doctor one day, remembering how a doctor helped save his sister. Through every step, Ethan and Elena are there together, at recitals and soccer games, through chickenpox and scraped knees, on family road trips that inevitably involve someone spilling juice in the car. They navigate parenthood side by side, sometimes exhausted, often chaotic, but always filled with gratitude that they got to do it together after all. One summer night, many years later, Ethan and Elena sit on their porch swing, much like they did that first spring after reuniting. The air is warm and sweet with the scent of roses from the garden. Inside, they can hear the distant music and laughter of their now teenage children preparing for a school dance. The triplets are 15 and have an abundance of energy and opinions. Elena sighs contentedly, resting her head on Ethan's shoulder. "Remember our first night on a porch swing like this?" She muses. He chuckles. "When I asked you to marry me and Ava caught us kissing." "Hard to forget." "She's still good at interrupting our kisses," Elena laughs, thinking of earlier that day when Ava popped into the kitchen right as Ethan was stealing a smooch. They fall into comfortable silence, listening to crickets chirping. Ethan turns slightly to look at Elena, taking in the serene expression on her face. "Have I told you lately how grateful I am for you?" he asks quietly. Elena tilts her face up to meet his eyes, the same eyes of the man she fell in love with so many years ago. "You show me every day," she replies softly, "but you can tell me again. I don't mind hearing it." He smiles and kisses her, slow and sweet. "Thank you," he whispers against her lips, "for giving me a second chance. My life truly began when you and the kids came back into it. I will never stop trying to be worthy of you all." Her heart swells, just as it did the day she first saw him in that coffee shop after so long apart. "And thank you," she says, caressing his cheek, "for finding us, for fighting for us. You kept your promise, you never left. You never will." "Never," he confirms, sealing it with another kiss. Inside, the music changes to a slow song, and through the open window, they can see Ava laughing as she tries to teach her brothers some dance moves for the upcoming event. Ethan stands and offers his hand to Elena with a flourish. "May I have this dance?" She giggles, rolling her eyes playfully but taking his hand. "Why, of course, kind sir." On the porch under the gentle glow of the fairy lights, Ethan insisted they hang. They sway together, barefoot on worn wooden planks. He hums along to the tune, and Elena closes her eyes, breathing him in, feeling the vibration of his chest as he softly sings a few lyrics. In this perfect, ordinary moment, she thinks back to how far they've come. The heartbreak, the years apart, the secrets she kept, the chance encounter that started it all anew. They had weathered so much, and yet here they are, dancing together in the home they built, their children healthy and happy inside, the past firmly behind them. "You're smiling," Ethan whispers, resting his forehead against hers. "I was just thinking how funny life is," Elena replies. "How we took the long way around, but ended up right where we were meant to be." He nods, twirling her gently. "I wouldn't trade the journey. It taught me what matters. It led me back to you." They dance until the song ends, and the distant sound of their kids' laughter drifts out to them again, calling them back inside to be mom and dad. As they re-enter the house arm in arm, Elena pauses and surveys the living room. Photos lining the mantle of their family through the years, the mess of shoes by the door from their perpetually active teenagers, the faint marks on the wall measuring the kids' heights over time. Her eyes mist slightly with happiness. "Everything okay?" Ethan asks. Noticing her pause, she turns to him, her eyes bright. "Never better." She leans up and kisses him once more, unable to help herself. A chorus of playful groans comes from the staircase, their 3 not-so-little ones protesting the parental PDA. "Come on, you two. We have to go soon or we'll be late." Ava hollers, though she's grinning. Ethan laughs and throws an arm around Elena, guiding her toward their boisterous children. All right, we're coming." And they go together as the loving, united family they were always meant to be. In this story of lost love found again, of secrets and forgiveness, of shocks and second chances, Ethan and Elena learned that sometimes life's twists and turns are the very things that lead you to where you belong. And for them, where they belong is with each other, and with the 3 beautiful reasons their hearts beat in unison every single day. Thank you so much for watching this story unfold to the very end. If Ethan and Elena's journey moved you, please leave a like and comment below about your favorite moment or what touched your heart. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and if you haven't already, remember to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring and emotional stories like this one. By subscribing and sharing, you're helping us continue to create content that resonates and uplifts. Until next time, keep believing in love, even when it's hard.